Hi, and welcome back to Lion's Book Club. Are you ready for the second part of our story, The Enormous Crocodile? Last time we met the enormous crocodile who had a terrible plan. He was going to use secret plans and clever tricks to try and eat some poor little children for lunch. The enormous crocodile had disguised himself as a tree and waited for two little children, Toto and Mary, to come closer. Suddenly there was a tremendous whooshing noise. It was Humpy Rumpy the hippopotamus. He came crashing and snorting out of the jungle. His head was down low and he galloped at a terrific speed. "Look out, Toto!" shouted Humpy Rumpy. "Look out, Mary, that's not a coconut tree. It's the enormous crocodile and he wants to eat you up." Humpy Rumpy charged straight at the enormous crocodile. He caught him with his giant head and sent him tumbling and skidding over the ground. "Owie!" cried the crocodile. "Help! Stop! Where am I?" Toto and Mary ran back to town as fast as they could. But crocodiles are tough. It is difficult for even a hippopotamus to hurt them. The enormous crocodile picked himself up and crept towards the place where the children's playground was. "Now for clever trick number 2, he said to himself. "This one is certain to work." There were no children in the playground at that moment. They were all in school. The enormous crocodile found a large piece of wood and placed it in the middle of the playground. Then he lay across the piece of wood and tucked it in his feet so he looked almost exactly like a seesaw. When school was over, the children all came running onto the playground. "Oh, look!" they cried. "We've got a new seesaw!" They all crowded round, shouting with excitement. "Bags, I have to go first. I'll get on the other end." "I want to go first. So do I, so do I." Then a girl who was older than the others said, "It's a rather funny, knobbly sort of seesaw, isn't it? Do you think it will be safe to sit on?" "Of course it will," the others said. "It looks strong as anything." The enormous crocodile opened one eye, just a tiny bit, and watched the children who were crowding around him. "Soon," he thought, "one of them is going to sit on my head. Then I will give it a jerk and a snap, and after that it will be yum, yum, yum." At that moment there was a flash of brown, and something jumped into the playground and hopped up on top of the swings. It was Mugglewump, the monkey. "Run!" Mugglewump shouted to the children. "All of you, run, run, run! That's not a seesaw. It's the enormous crocodile and he wants to eat you up." The children screamed and ran for their lives. Mugglewump disappeared back into the jungle, and the enormous crocodile was left all alone in the playground. He cursed the monkey and waddled back into the bushes to hide. "I'm getting hungrier and hungrier," he said. "I shall have to have at least 4 children now before I'm full up." The enormous crocodile crept around the edge of the town, taking great care not to be seen. He came to a place where they were getting ready to have a fair. There were slides and swings and dodgem cars and people selling popcorn and candy floss. There was also a big roundabout. The roundabout has marvellous wooden creatures for the children to ride on. I wonder what the enormous crocodile's next clever plan might be. There were white horses and lions and tigers and mermaids with fishes' tails and fearsome dragons with red tongues sticking out of their mouths. "Now for clever trick number 3, said the enormous crocodile, licking his lips. When no one was looking, he crept up onto the roundabout and put himself between a wooden lion and a fearsome dragon. He sat up a bit on his back legs and kept very still. He looked exactly like a wooden crocodile on the roundabout. Soon all sorts of children came flocking into the fair. Several of them ran towards the roundabout. They were very excited. "I'm going to ride on a dragon," cried one. "I'm going on a lovely white horse," said another. "I'm going on a lion," cried a third one. And one little girl, whose name was Jill, said, "I'm going to ride on that funny old wooden crocodile." The enormous crocodile kept very still, but he could see the little girl coming towards him. "Yummy, yum, yum," he thought. "I'll gulp her up easily in one gallop." Suddenly there was a swish and a swoosh, and something came swishing and swooshing out of the sky. It was the roly-poly bird. He flew round and round the roundabout singing, "Look out, Jill! Look out! Look out! Don't ride on that crocodile!" Jill stopped and looked up. "That's not a wooden crocodile," sang the roly-poly bird. "It's a real one. It's the enormous crocodile from the river, and he wants to eat you up." Jill turned and ran. So did all the other children. Even the man who was working the roundabout jumped off it and ran away as fast as he could. The enormous crocodile cursed the roly-poly bird and waddled back into the bushes to hide. "I'm so hungry now," he said to himself. "I could eat 6 children before I'm full up." Just outside the town, there was a pretty little field with trees and bushes all around it. This was called the picnic place. There were several wooden tables and long benches, and people were allowed to go there and have a picnic at any time. The enormous crocodile crept over to the picnic place. There was no one in sight. "Now for clever trick number 4, he whispered to himself. He picked up a lovely bunch of flowers and arranged it on one of the tables. From the same table, he took away one of the benches and hid it in the bushes. Then he put himself in the place where the bench would have been. By tucking his head under his chest and twisting his tail out of sight, he made himself look very much like a wooden bench with 4 legs. Soon, 2 boys and 2 girls came along carrying baskets of food. They were all from one family, and their mother had said they could go out and have a picnic together. "Which table shall we sit at?" said one. "Let's take the table with the lovely flowers on it," said another. The enormous crocodile kept quiet as a mouse. "I shall eat them all," he said to himself. "They will come and sit on my back, and I will swizzle my head round quickly, and after that it will be squish, crunch, gollop." Suddenly, a deep voice from the jungle shouted, "Stand back, children! Stand back! Stand back!" The children stopped and stared at the place where the voice was coming from. Then, with a crashing of branches, Trunky the elephant came rushing out of the jungle. "That's not a bench you're going to sit on," he bellowed. "It's the enormous crocodile, and he wants to eat you all up." Trunky trotted over to the spot where the enormous crocodile was standing, and quick as a flash, he wrapped his trunk around the crocodile's tail and hoisted him up into the air. "Hey, let me go!" yelled the enormous crocodile, who was now dangling upside down. "Let me go! Let me go!" "No," Trunky said, "I will not let you go. We've all had quite enough of your clever tricks." Trunky began to swing the crocodile round and round in the air. At first he swung him slowly, then he swung him faster and faster and faster and faster still. Soon the enormous crocodile was just a blurry circle going around and around Trunky's head. Suddenly, Trunky let go of the crocodile's tail, and the crocodile went shooting high up into the sky like a huge green rocket. Up and up he went, higher and higher, faster and faster. He was going so fast and so high that soon the earth was just a tiny dot miles below. He whizzed on and on. He whizzed far into space. He whizzed past the moon. He whizzed past stars and planets until at last, with a most tremendous bang, the enormous crocodile crashed headfirst into the hot, hot sun, and he was sizzled up like a sausage. What do you think of that ending? I find it a little surprising, but I really like the fact that the enormous crocodile got his comeuppance.